Hey everybody, this is Doc Mack with the Galloping Ghost Arcade out in Brookfield, Illinois. Today is Monday, November 4th, 2013, and we are doing another one of our gamer profiles. Today we are joined by James White, who has set countless scores here with us and was our 2012 Gamer of the Year. So
me.
Thanks, James. Thanks for coming in and talking with us and sharing a little bit of your history on how you got into video games and stuff.
Thank you.
And I guess let's start. What was your first experience playing video games that you can remember?
Well, I remember back, I'd say nearly 30 years ago. I think it was at the Addison Holiday Inn, which I don't know which holiday it was. My father would start playing Pac-Man a lot. I mean, he couldn't finish the game, and I thought, geez, how do you turn the ghost blue? I mean, I didn't realize there were Energizer dots there. But then one time, out of nowhere, I played a Pac-Man game back, how long ago? Like 30-something years ago. And just right out of the bat, I just learned to eat the Energizers to eat. Then I thought I wouldn't do that well, but I cleared the first board, that's about it. Then it took some time to clear the two first boards. This is the third one. I mean, sure, there was a little show, of course. And then,
how old were you when you first played?
I'd say 10, 11, maybe even 9.
Yeah.
But then came along that game I said, Centipede, which I thought the game, it was a supermarket called Mr. N's out near Chicago where I live. I mean, I live in Summit. Used to live in Summit, and it was just a marquee cabinet, which I thought, my mother and I said, oh, what was it called? Anson Spires. But it was really called Centipede. It was just, a marquee cabinet, doesn't have the name of the arcade game on the top. It's usually on the bottom. Mm-hmm. They're hard to tell, but
cool.
It was all good.
What other arcades did you, when you were growing up, what other arcades did you go to a lot?
Well, back in, back in 82, 81, there was this place, right now I think it was called Sinbad's Castle off of Archer Avenue in I think, Bridgeview. But it used to be an arcade called Popeye's Arcade. I know it was Popeye's Chicken, but it was called Popeye's Arcade. It wasn't like the other arcade. It was interesting for how before it came Sinbad's Castle. Sure, there were like games like Kangaroo, Dig Dug, Pac-Man, Asteroids was a favorite. But my father and I played a game called Space Duel a lot together.
Great game.
I mean, really, that was a father and son bonding moment in that game. Space Duel was one of my dad's favorites, and so was I, and loved it so much, and we continued playing for it. I mean, playing together in that game. It was a fun game.
That's excellent. What are some of your other favorites in the arcade?
That arcade in particular?
Any arcade.
Oh boy.
And even console. Like, what are some of your favorite console games too?
First console system I got was the Atari VCS back in Christmas of 1982.
Yeah.
I have a good memory, like I said. Yeah, and then.
What were you playing on that?
Oh boy, there was like numerous games. One time I used to. This is like nearly before the video game crash in the middle 80s. I mean, I had stocked up over 100 games one time in that system. I mean, back in the video game crash, I mean, some cartridges would go as small as like 99 cents or $2.
Yeah. Back
then, like 85, 86. Because I tell you, the crash back then made us game players look like, sissies, nobodies, I think. Oh, these video games means you're nobody. Those are hard times.
Yeah. What back then when you were growing up playing, did you play for? You've set so many great scores here at the Galloping Ghost Arcade. Back then, were you playing for score, or it was just more of a were you playing the game to play the game, trying to finish the game, or were you actually playing for scores?
Before here, there was another arcade in Lyons, which is not too far from here, back like in the late 80s. It was called a weird name, Family Game Center.
Yeah.
And actually, God, I wish they would have kept track of world records. But I know I have no proof of the high score of this game. It's called Time Track. No, yeah, it was Time Soldiers. Time Soldiers. You know, if that place were to keep track of high scores and world records, now I have no proof now of this. I finished the game one time. I got over 1 million points, but I know there's no proof. I can't give you a memory version, but it has to be shown like
on arcade.
Yeah, it's no biggie. After I finished the game, I decided to call it quits because it was a lot. It was very hard to beat the last boss, and I don't know. It's just was that high score the world record? Who knows? But go on.
Do you remember what your first world record that you said here was?
Ninja Gaiden.
Was it Ninja Gaiden?
So,
awesome.
Yeah, no big deal. I mean, I've been coming for 3 years, and the first house I score I got was Mr. Do, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that was an excellent game.
Really
and
is.
Again, you've set so many scores here, and in doing so, you've done a lot of streaming, and you're always very helpful to other gamers here, and
I try to be
talking to them and giving them strategies on how to better their scores and stuff. When you stream a game and you're going for a score, does streaming factor into your playing at all? Do you like streaming?
No, streaming isn't bad. I mean, before I got Game of the Year 2012, when you're streaming Aliens,
yes,
it wasn't. There was no pressure. This is the third time I tried to get for a good world record. It was good. I enjoyed it, savored it, and will be touched ever? Who knows?
And again, your game playing here does draw crowds. Like, do you like it better when you have people standing behind you watching you play live?
No. Actually, live is no worries. Actually, this past Saturday I was late at Kendrick saying, "Can I watch this?" Sure, no problem. You know, people think that. I mean, some people think that if they watch someone to play, some people say, "Yeah, I don't want to be watching." But me, I don't mind. I mean, when I was growing up, it was like, I don't know, I took it too seriously. I swore sometimes. Sometimes, there's some etiquette that I go by. If I accidentally swear, not someone but the game, I usually take this phrase from a movie called Tremors. I don't know why I remember the phrase. It's called "Pardon my French."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what? Listen, everybody. If you ever swear in a game, you just gotta excuse yourself, saying, "Oh, sorry, didn't mean to say that," or "Pardon your French." Really, I go by that motto. You shouldn't take it out on other people or the game. You just really excuse yourself by saying, "Sorry, didn't mean to say that. You heard nothing."
When you're going after a score, like, do you do any prep work before you come to the arcade? Do you do research online? Do you look at videos? Do you play MAME? What's your process when you've decided that you're going for a score on a game?
Well, watch it. I do have a MAME unit at home, but I don't play it ever. It's just there's nothing like the real McCoy here. It's just when I got the MAME unit before the arcades started booming again, it was like, wow, neat. We get all the classic arcades, but now it's like, boring.
Well, I appreciate that you're always here and playing, and a lot talking to the people too. Like, that's really cool.
And kids try their best to give them one of my Twin Galaxies trading cards.
One of the other things, again, you've set so many great scores here. What has been some of your toughest goals that you've set and met?
Oh, boy, toughest goals. That's a very good question.
Like, what game did you really want to score on and really have to put a lot of time in? And
I could tell you one. Final Fight.
A Final Fight?
That I remember that time when I I knew it could be the world record, but I stayed near close to 2 a.m. that Saturday in July.
Yes.
I mean, I had to get someone I didn't know just to get you, and that score stood stood up. It was like 714,000.
Excellent
back
score.
then. Yeah, now I had 801,000.
Yeah.
And then it took me how long? Like hours.
You definitely put a lot of time.
Yeah, that was one game that I sort of was determined just to see if I could beat that score. And I did. I got over 800,000 points. Will be some scores a question. Can they be touched or beat? Who knows?
And as we're finding out, there's a lot of. It's hard to have a safe score here at the arcade. There's so many amazing players that continuously come in. Mm-hmm. Has there ever been a score that you had and then you lost it? Somebody put up a score that you're just like, I'm walking away from this. I'm done playing.
Plenty. Not that plenty.
Can you name one or two specifically?
One is Total Carnage, I think it was. Rocco took that. I just walk away from it. That first boss is a huge bitch. Because that was tough. And then there was Ninja Gaiden. I just sure at first it was hard, but you gotta let go and just know when to fold them, like Kenny Rogers said, and just.
What was the score that meant the most to you when you lost it? That you're like, you really felt it.
I was the first one back in Ninja Gaiden. Yeah. But I've let that go. It's just I still have plenty of house scores, world records. The question is, I know some of them probably will be untouched, some of them will be touched or like beaten, but some of that come along. Like I had high scores that stood for a while, like Dig Dug and Mr. Lucky Dig Dug, which I had the house score for like 2 years until someone I guess he didn't want his score in arcade, but not in the game itself. I think he beat that high score my high score that I had there like by 15,000 points.
Yeah.
No worries. Really.
What games are you currently working on? And what are your next world records that you're looking to take or set?
Oh, that is hard. I just... I wish I knew.
I've seen you playing a lot of Eyes lately.
Eyes, it's hard to get 1 million points in Eyes. This week I got over 800,000. Can't do. I think he has over 1 million points in Eyes. Just how does he do it? Really, it's just there is a strategy in Eyes, which is just go row by row. But there's just 3 rows that are just too. I wouldn't say impossible. Just gotta be careful with them.
Takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
If there were any game in the arcade, if you could have the world record, that was the game that you were the best at. What game would you want to have the world record in? Out of anything.
God, some questions I wish I had answers. There was a game, Star Wars, but I'd say original Star Wars. If I had the Star Wars, the house score, if I had it again, but world record, if I played very hard, but that's just I don't know, but I'm just assuming that.
Yeah.
But the world record is very hard. But I did have the house score in the original Star Wars arcade. That was the very first game I got over 1 million points on back when I was growing up, and it has been like it was like a huge game back in the day, back in like '83 when it came out, and it'll always be with me.
It's excellent. Obviously, you've been coming here pretty much since we opened. And you're one of our premier year members here at the arcade. And you've been with us through so many of our events. What have been some of the most memorable events, whether it's tournaments or what's been very memorable to you here at the arcade?
Oh, plenty. There was that trivia night, which you try to do often. Yeah. There was one time I just went crazy overnight.
You were on fire on that trivia night.
Yeah. It was like before I got the Game of the Year award, I think back. I just after that you did a wiring class. I just it's all here. No one knew. There was one question that I asked: how many rows? Like I asked, answered 11. Yeah, I was right. Like of Space Invader, like in a line going horizontally. Yeah, that's or anyway. Yeah. Until 55.
Yeah.
Yeah, why do I know that? I don't know.
Are there any other events? Like, obviously, you've won. You've been to all of our Gamer of the Year.
If there's a repeat, no way, no thanks. One's enough. There's going to be plenty of people out there that's going to be dying to get that title, and I just think once is enough for me.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone could say whether they're where I work at, and hey, Jimbo, I'm going to be Gamer of the Year someday. Well, it's like that old riddle. How to get to Carnegie Hall? Got practice. Yeah.
Well, you've definitely put a lot of time in here, and it's very apparent that you're an incredibly skilled gamer, and we're just very happy to have you here, and definitely enjoy what you bring to the arcade, and
cool.
Definitely a lot of people know who you are now from Game of the Year. You had your TG card given to you out in Iowa.
That was a great experience. Even, sorry I mentioned Billy Mitchell was...
Billy Mitchell, excellent guy.
And Walter Day.
Yes.
Richie Knuckles. Really, all those people when we were in Iowa, I mean, they were great. My parents helped out big time with food and stuff, and like I met my folks, they're really great people. And my sister and brother-in-law, she gave birth 1 month ago to my niece, Zinni. Tamsin, but we call her Zinni for sure. But man, it's all been one hell of a ride.
Well, again, with people, again, you're noted here. If there's anything that you would want somebody to know who's watching these videos about your gaming experiences, whether it's arcade or console, what else would you like people to know about you?
I play volleyball a lot. I've been playing that sport. It's just as long as video games, but I like to play the competitive game, mainly indoor. I tried the beach game several times, but I had my fun with that. But I play strictly indoor.
What about on the more video gaming end?
Video gaming end? I have a Wii U console. I have 2 DSs and 2 3DSs. I hate to admit this, I'm heavily into Pokemon, but it's like I mean, bring this subject about Pokemon. I mean, sure, back then it used to be a kiddie game. Now when the online and special trainings happened, it's like, whoa.
Have you stayed up with consoles? Like, again, you said that you first owned an Atari. Have you collected systems throughout the years?
Yeah.
Do you have the new systems now? Are you getting any of the new systems when they come out?
Well, I think after with the Wii U, I think I might lay off of console gaming because there's really no winners. I mean, you have Sony and Microsoft. They're releasing new consoles, the PS4 and Xbox One this month. I mean, I could tell you it could be bedlam again for most gamers. It's going to be a great holiday season. But I tell you, the console systems, they really have a short lifespan when you come down to it. I mean, if there was, I've owned like so many Sega systems except for the Master System. That includes the Sega Genesis, CD and 32X, Saturn, Dreamcast, and then I went strictly Nintendo. I never owned an NES. Why?
Really?
I do not know. I never owned an NES, and people are shocked. I mean, it's true. I never owned an NES.
I would have pegged you as having an NES.
I never did. I had a Game Boy, but never an NES. I just don't know why. I thought back then cartridges were a lot of money, and I thought I just didn't know. And then when I wanted to get a console system back in like the early 90s, I had 3 choices to choose from: Super NES, TurboGrafx 16, or the Genesis. I chose the Genesis.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Cool. Well, appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today. Thanks
worries.
everybody for watching. Again, this is James White, our 2012 Gamer of the Year. I'm Doc Mack with the Galloping Ghost Arcade, and we'll see you around the arcade. Thanks everybody.
Peace out.